Hello, my friends. It's time to talk about some more of the nifty tools that you will have at your disposal when you use the Discovery Education Techbook that we'll be working with this year. So last time we talked about the Atlas feature, and if you missed that, you can go back and watch that video. Or if you've forgotten how to access the Atlas, I would encourage you to rewatch that video because we'll be using the Atlas feature quite a bit this year. But today I want to talk about some of the options that you have when you're reading the text to both work with the text and to make the text work for you. So here we have, again, the same page as last time with a very simple, straightforward, pretty typical page of text. This particular one's about Greek political systems, again, in the beginnings of democracy. And you can see there's a regular informative text there, and then there's some options down here that will always be there, things like images that you can look at and read about, and then video segments that you can watch to supplement the text. Sometimes those will be assigned, sometimes they'll just be optional. But when you take a look at the text, you'll notice a few different features. The first thing that you notice is that some of the words are blue, and some of those blue words are particularly challenging. For example, this sentence here says, "This Spartan hoped to establish an oligarchy that would give Sparta some control over Athens." And you'll notice that the word oligarchy is blue. That's a pretty tough word. There's a good chance that many of you may not know what an oligarchy is. So if you click it, any blue word can be clicked, and if you click it, you get much more than the typical textbook definition. Typically in a textbook, you'd have a blue word like that and then be a little definition off to the side. In this particular case, you can see you do get a definition, but you also get a whole lot of information about the historical context for the word, how it relates to the particular topic that we're dealing with, and how it relates to other areas of history. And then you have all these other resources so that if the definition is unclear or the reading is too challenging, you could click video, and there'll be a video having to do with oligarchy. So these are all videos where oligarchy would be used and where you might develop a better understanding of the word. You can also see an image that relates to oligarchy. So it will give you an image, and it will explain how this has to do with oligarchy. So this is a really neat feature if you're struggling with some of the vocabulary. Another really neat feature, if you go over here to language, you should have this gray bar on the side, and you'll notice that one of the items is language. This is a great tool because sometimes you're going to find that some of this reading might be a little bit challenging. And you'll notice if you click language that we are currently in reading level A, English reading level A. If you're finding it to be too challenging, then one of the options that you have at your disposal is to change it to English reading level B. And you can see it breaks it down a little differently. It changes the phrasing. It even changes some of the organization because the paragraphs have been broken up in a slightly different way. And you might find that English reading level B is a little more manageable for you. And I am fine with you using either of those two reading levels. It doesn't matter to me which one you prefer. So feel free to change the language level to your heart's content. Anytime you're having trouble, try the other one. Another option is if you are somebody who speaks Spanish as your primary language and you're more comfortable learning your history in Spanish, you also have the option of turning the text into Spanish. And so, again, I'm totally fine with that. If you prefer to use the Spanish language and read it in Spanish first so that you understand the history better, then we can talk about it in English after. That's totally fine with me. So those are some great options that will help you understand the text and understand the history that you're reading when you're working independently. And there's one more option that I think you definitely want to be aware of. This will also help with understanding. If you highlight any of these lines of text, you'll see that a little gray box will pop up, and we'll talk about some of these other features next time. But one of the features is speak text. What this system can do is actually read it to you. So if you click speak text, it will read the line that you've highlighted. So you can see that the reading is not exactly the most engaging reading ever, but it's still a good tool to have because it will help you make sure you're pronouncing words correctly. Or if you'd rather listen to a whole paragraph of text, you could highlight the whole paragraph, and it will definitely make it easier for you if you prefer that. Again, you choose to use that tool. It's totally up to you, and I'm totally fine with it if you want to use it. So feel free. Let me know if you have any questions, and hopefully those are some helpful hints to assist you when you are using your Discovery Education tool for independent work. See you next time.